Has Arsenal's title dream slipped away? Brighton and Aston Villa boost their European hopes and Bournemouth gets a dramatic win at Spurs. This is Curiously Sport and our wrap up of the Premier League weekend.
So in the title race, it was a good weekend for Manchester City as they beat Leicester at home on Saturday evening 3-1 with Erling Haaland netting his 47th goal of the campaign. Arsenal then dropped points on Sunday, surrendering another 2-0 lead away from home against West Ham, with Bukayo Saka missing a key penalty which could be critical in this title race. Bournemouth claimed a huge 3 points in their fight for survival, winning a dramatic clash against Spurs 3-2 with a 95th minute winner. Brighton beat Chelsea thanks to a stunning Ensico strike, whilst Aston Villa continued their march up the table with a dominant 3-0 win over Newcastle.
So what does it all mean? Man City beating Leicester and then Arsenal dropping points to West Ham makes it a 4-point gap at the top of the Premier League between both teams, with the context that Man City have a game in hand and face Arsenal at the Etihad Stadium pretty soon. Moving down to the bottom of the Premier League in that relegation fight, Bournemouth's dramatic 3-2 win over Spurs means they now have a 6-point gap, a tidy cushion between themselves and 18th placed Nottingham Forest. All four of the bottom teams in the Premier League this weekend lost their games, which is good news for those above them and bad news in the relegation dogfight for those teams.
We have to give some flowers to Aston Villa under Unai Emery, who have now won their last 5, taking them up to 6th and only 6 points away from Newcastle, who are in 4th, who they just beat. Emery is truly proving his coaching abilities to take underdogs further than expected, whilst Ollie Watkins is continuing to produce, netting 11 goals in his last 12 appearances.
The worst simply has to be Chelsea. Another defeat. They were completely outplayed by Brighton. Ironic given the history between those two clubs this season. And amazingly, Chelsea have still yet to hit 40 points in the Premier League, which feasibly makes relegation possible, even though it's probably unlikely. But it just speaks to the failure at Chelsea under their new ownership this season. 600 million spent, not even at 40 points, and likely to be in the bottom half of the table this season. It's just been dreadful. And supporters even gave their ire to Todd Bowley in the executive box at the end of the game. So it's just looking like a mess, and it was not a happy return to Frank Lampard for his beloved club at Stamford Bridge.
Sticking with Chelsea, Lampard made the shocking admission after their defeat to Brighton that Chelsea were not as physically fit as some of their rivals. Quite the statement. Brighton manager Roberto De Zerbi thanked his predecessor to rub salt in the wounds of Chelsea. I have to say thanks to Graham Potter, as I have found a very great and strong team and I am now trying to give my idea. Roy Keane came at Arsenal too, firing back at Gary Neville's analysis on Sky that a second place finish for the Gunners would still be an unbelievable season.
So we now move on to the Champions League quarter-final second legs, with Chelsea trying to somehow cause a miracle by overturning a 2-0 deficit to Real Madrid, whilst Man City boast a comfortable lead over Bayern Munich as they travel to the Allianz on Wednesday, hoping to reach the semi-final. That has been our wrap-up. Let us know your thoughts on the football in the comments below.